Welcome back to His and Hers Movie Podcast. This is episode number 58, our St. Patrick's Day extravaganza, where we are going to review a new film that probably nobody's really seen. It's called Leprechaun's Game. We will get to that in a moment, but first, I am your host, JP, podcasting out of southwestern Pennsylvania on this March 21st, 2021, at around almost midnight. It's almost the 22nd. And joining me tonight is Carly, the one and only, also podcasting out of Southwest PA. We're back, we're here, and we are not afraid.
Great. I am not afraid to take a stand. Everybody, come take my hand. We will walk this road together, through the storm, whatever weather. Cold or warm.
Is that Shakespeare?
Nobody, that's Eminem.
Oh.
Yeah, close enough. Anyway, yes, we are back, and yeah, it has been, well, my birthday was this past week, so...
Happy birthday.
Thank you, little guy. And my birthday was on St. Patrick's Day, hence our St. Patrick's Day extravaganza.
Is it not going forward?
What?
Is it not on St. Patrick's Day going forward?
No, it's always on St. Patrick's Day.
Oh, because you said it was on St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah, well, no, I'm letting people know, my birthday was in the past, and I'm saying if you want to know which day it was on St. Patrick's Day.
Which is also a day that we hung out.
Right, that's what I just said, the St. Patrick's Day extravaganza. But, yes, so I had a birthday, so that means I got multiple free meals out of people, and that has been lovely. No, but it was nice. You got me some gifts, and my friends got me some nice things, and I had a celebration, and today I went out to eat with my mother, which we had a hard time because today is Sunday, and we tried to go to 2 different restaurants, and they were closed. So then we ended up in Pittsburgh at the Cheesecake Factory, which is fine by me. Yes, well, Damn. She wanted to take me to a place called Pasta 2, which I was excited because I'd never been there, and they were only open for takeout on, it was stupid. They were like, no, we're only open for dine-in Monday through Thursday, so that was really dumb. And then we were going to go to this, we didn't go to it, but we were going to go to a place called Angelo's, that is close to where
Washington?
my mom... No, that's in Monongahela, that's where my mom lives. It's if you ever look on Facebook, it's that restaurant that decks out every year and has the Ghostbusters decorations.
Oh, yeah. I know that place.
Yeah. So they go crazy with decorations and whatnot. But that place is closed on Sunday, so my mom's like, whatever shall we do? I feel so bad. And I was like, let's go to Cheesecake Factory. Kind of joking, but then she was like, you want to? And I was like, let's see how far away it is from where we're at now. And it was 27 minutes away, so I was like, yes. And we went there, and it's expensive, but it's really good.
I don't really like cheesecake, so I don't think I would ever go there.
Well, buddy, no, it's a huge menu of every food you can imagine.
No.
And then cheesecake.
That would be dumb, because it's called Cheesecake Factory, not every food you can imagine factory.
And now, buddy, I thought the same thing when I was younger. I was like, why are people so hype about this Cheesecake Factory? All they do is sell cheesecake, and it's a factory. But then when I was...
in my head, the only thing I picture is, this giant warehouse with conveyor belts and, plates of cheesecake just scrolling by. That's how I've always pictured it. But, when I was in high school, it was, customary to go to homecoming or prom in your limo and then go to the Cheesecake Factory in Pittsburgh.
That is very weird that you say that, because that is what I was going to say. I went there for the first time after prom my senior year, and all we got was cheesecake. We didn't actually eat there, and we got it to go, and we all kind of sat outside, because there's a nice sitting area. It's on the south side of Pittsburgh, so it's the more chill side, not the skyscrapery, scary side, and we sat outside and ate cheesecake, and it was very good. And then I didn't go again until my 21st birthday, and I actually ate at the restaurant. And I was like, wow, this is actually a nice restaurant. But it's good. I got a pasta. It was a chipotle chicken spicy pasta. It was really good.
I'm hungry.
Yeah.
Also, when I was in school, it was it ended I don't know, maybe like 2 years before I was in high school. But our proms used to be on the Gateway Clipper.
Oh.
Which is that boat, right?
Yeah, I went on a field trip there in 3rd grade on that boat.
They used to do the prom on there every year. And then they stopped, and I think they started doing it at like some, you know, like what are those things called? Like event room? What are they called?
Like yeah, I don't know. I know my prom was like every other year. It was at Nemacolin and Woodlands, or it was at a fancy like 5-star hotel they would pick in Pittsburgh. So that's how we did it.
And then they started doing it at like our high school or something, and it's like that's lame.
Yeah, that's real lame.
But I know I didn't actually go to prom, so or any homecoming.
Yeah, homecoming wasn't a big deal. I think I've said this before on the pod, but our homecoming, no one cared about homecoming. They tried to have a dance the one year, and like 10 people bought tickets, so they canceled it.
Wow, that's crazy. Yeah, homecoming was a massive deal in my school. Like, it was almost like a popularity contest too, where like, you know, if you didn't get, like, it was a big deal to like get a date to homecoming. Like, you just felt like a piece of crap if you didn't have a date. So I just avoided it altogether.
Yeah, our Christmas dances were like kind of a big deal. They were like mini prom almost. But the homecoming, like they had the homecoming queen, and then they didn't used to do the king. They started doing that probably my junior year, I think. And
I think
homecoming football game.
We had queen, but I don't know. I didn't really participate in that kind of stuff too much. I was like too busy doing other stuff, and I don't know, it wasn't something that I was super into. Like, I don't know, it was also like a money thing. I was like, I don't want to spend like hundreds of dollars on limos and suits and stuff. Like, this is stupid. Especially since the best part of homecoming was the after parties, right? Like, it was like who was having a big after party at their house, and I just went to those. And got to participate in more or less homecoming, you know, anyway, without like going to the dance and dressing up and stuff.
Right.
It was like the big things in my high school were Halloween, homecoming, and prom were like the big party like moments. Now, was it only seniors who got to go to prom at your school? Because I know it's different in different places.
No, everyone went to prom, and we had a junior and a senior prom, like juniors and seniors both. It was like I think it was considered like the junior prom. It's weird, but yeah, juniors and seniors could go, but they had to ask. If they asked a sophomore or freshman, then they could go, but you know, a freshman and sophomore couldn't just show up by themselves.
So
they had to be asked.
That's how it was in our school, but I want to say that it was only senior prom, but if you were asked by a senior, you could go if you were freshman, sophomore, or junior. But it may have been junior too. I feel like now that I'm thinking about it, I feel like it almost had to be junior as well, because I don't think there would be that many people there if it was just seniors.
Yeah, I think that's changed. I know a lot of schools used to only do senior, but I think that's changed over the years quite a bit. But yeah, for us it was like if you were a junior or a senior, you could go with or without a date, and then the youngins.
Who did you go to prom with?
My junior year, I went with our dude Jonathan.
Was it
our friend?
Jonathan. What about your senior year?
I went with a friend named Timmy. You've never met him. He was 2 years younger than me.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, I got prom dates.
Yeah, Jonathan.
Yeah, dude, whatever. We wanted to go to him. Shut up. Him and I wanted. Well, it was his. What are you done? Dude, I had a nice time. He wanted to go to prom. It was the senior year. He wasn't gonna go, and then on my that would have been my 17th birthday, I had friends over, and he brought me flower hairs and asked me to prom, and that was very nice. And then we went, and oddly enough, he started dating our girl Heather in the midst of, like, before him and I went to prom. So she went to prom with a different weird guy that she went to school with, and he went to prom with me, but they were already dating, so it was kind of odd. But
yeah,
that's what happens, because we already bought our, like, stuff, so it's like, you can't just be like, oh, sorry, I'm not going with you.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Anyway, so St. Patrick's Day, I know that it's kind of a different thing in different places. It's really not too huge here. Maybe in the city of Pittsburgh, it's probably a little bigger. I mean, I doubt it is this year at all. I know. Did you guys go out for St. Patrick's Day, or was that like a bar crawl, or was that for Halloween?
That was for Halloween. We went out to the bar 2 years ago, just the local bar. But no, we wanted to go to a bar crawl for St. Patrick's Day, but I think we just didn't have it planned out well a few years ago, so we just went to a regular bar. But yeah, that was Halloween.
Also, not really my thing anymore. So, I don't usually participate with you guys when you do stuff like that.
Right.
I always say, like, I feel like I've done like a lifetime of like drinking and barring, like when I was under 21.
Yeah.
I like never really. It's just like I grew out of it real fast. By the time like most people were getting into it, I was already getting out of it.
Yes. I mean, even me, like I feel like even now, like I don't feel like drinking as much as, like I went through a phase where I was like, yay, I love getting drunk and hanging out with my friends, but now I just think about how sick I'm going to be the next day because I'm just not good at not getting hangovers is my problem. So, and I'm skinny and yeah.
I think one of the big things for me was when I was growing up, like, 14, 15, 16, I didn't get hangovers. Like, I just was like, we would literally get home from school on Fridays, go to my friend's basement, start drinking, party all night, maybe go to a party, go to sleep, wake up, go like eat and just mess around, and then go to another party on Saturday night. And it was just like not a big deal. It like you never felt. I mean, there were times where I felt really sick if I got like too messed up, but for the most part, I didn't really get too hungover. And I don't that much now. I feel like the few times that I've drank like heavy over the past couple years, which has been very rare, I expect to be hungover, but I'm not. But there was like a stage when I was probably like between like 20 and 22 where I would just get so sick the next day, like just hate my life sick, like couldn't do anything, like just miserable. And that's when I like kind of stopped drinking like crazy.
Yeah, I have a problem where I wake up and I'm like, oh, I feel fine and everything is fine, and then halfway through the day, I'm talking like 3 p.m., I get really sick. So, and I'm probably, I don't know if I'm still drunk or like, because sometimes I do still feel drunk, but then sometimes I feel fine and I'm like, I think I have dodged it, but then I'll just be puking like every 2 minutes and it's horrible.
I've noticed with you, like, if you start driving around or going with me driving around, like that's where it's really bad and annoying.
Right, you'll be like, Little John, how do you do? And I'll be like, bad. I do bad.
Yeah, yes. And I'll have to stop the car like 6 times for you to throw up.
But it's just horrible because I get car sick too on top of it. So I think
that happens sometimes when you're not hungover.
Well, yeah, but yeah, when I have drank the day before, it also happens.
Yeah.
So yes, but yeah. Yeah,
I mean, so typically with me, St. Patrick's Day is the day where I watch Leprechaun movies. Like I always try to squeeze in at least one Leprechaun film during St. Patrick's Day, and I look forward to it every year. In fact, like usually I'll get a hankering to watch some Leprechaun, 9 months in, I'll be like, no, let me just wait till St. Patrick's Day. And I always end up like working or like something's going on and I'm like I have to like squeeze them in at like 2 a.m. or something. But this year I actually had more time and actually got to the stuff that I wanted to get to, which really made me happy. Because I've said this multiple times, but like the Leprechaun franchise is one of my favorites. And they are comfort movies for me. Like when I think of like movies that are like go-to that I watch which I don't do anymore since I'm a podcaster and like all my time is like, if I go to want to watch a movie for fun, like I do watch movies for fun, but it's like stuff that I haven't seen or like Blu-rays that I have sealed or something. You know, that's what I consider. So like I watch things that I have for podcasts, and then everything else is like stuff that I have sealed that I haven't got to yet, or things like that. And then on the rarest of occasions, I watch stuff for true fun, like watch movies for true fun, and that is like a go-to movie that there's, you know, no reason I'm watching it. I've already watched it. I've already watched that edition of it, but I just pop it in because I want to see it again. Which, before I started podcasting and YouTube and stuff, that's all I did, basically. You know, it was like I watched movies for super fun most of the time, and every once in a while I'd watch something new that I got, and then very rarely I'd watch a movie for something, you know? And it's like completely like shifted to where now I almost exclusively watch movies for podcasts. And if I like, hey, I'm looking at movies on my shelf and I'm like, wow, it would be fun to watch Zombie right now. And then I'm like, yeah, but I should be watching an '05 movie if I'm going to watch anything. Or, you know, a movie for next week's His and Hers, or a movie for next week's 22 Shots, or everyone, like, then I also have just the, like, oh, and 2021 movies, you know, but then every once in a while I will have those, like, moments where I won't watch a movie at all, but I'll just watch whatever's new on Netflix, and I guess that's what I substitute now for fun movies. Like movies for super fun, I'll just watch like something that I haven't seen on Netflix or something. And every once in a while I'll watch like a non-horror thing that I haven't seen in a long time. Like the other month I watched Harley Davidson and the Marlboro Man, which is like one of my favorite movies growing up, and I just watched that for super fun, I guess.
That's super duper fun.
Yeah, it's like super duper fun. But it's really funny because like if Friday the 13th rolls around, I'm watching Friday the 13th, one of them, you know. And that's, like, it's like it's like a free pass, right? It's like, well, you know, Friday the 13th is coming, so you shouldn't feel guilty for watching a Friday the 13th movie instead of a 2005 movie because it's Friday the 13th. Same thing with, like, Halloween and, hell, even, like, Valentine's Day. I could watch My Bloody Valentine stuff or the stuff we do. But, yeah. How do you feel about that?
I feel that you just made a new category of move watching.
What is that?
Super fun. There is moves for fun, there is moves for super fun, and there is moves for boring.
What's moves for boring?
Podcasts. No, I'm kidding. But no, I agree. And the whole, like, I have that Friday box set that I have not opened, but I just feel that I'm not allowed to dig into that because, one, I have a massive stack of other movies that I've never seen before that I have not watched yet, and two, I have to watch '05 moves, and three, it's just not Friday the 13th yet, so it's like, I just feel like I have to wait until it's that time. But I agree, I do feel like, yay, it's the holidays are rolling around, I can watch the Halloween franchise again, or for you, it's like the Leprechaun moves, and stuff like that. But
yeah, or
right
like
now,
usually like July 4th I'll watch like I Know What You Did Last Summer, or like Return of the Living Dead or something like that.
Yeah, but I mean right now, as you know, I'm kind of experiencing some move burnout.
Yeah, well, I put a lot of this on myself, you know what I mean? Like, some people listening to this would probably be like, well, why don't you just not do that? And it's like, yeah, I can not do that, and I do not do that sometimes, but at the same time, like, I get so much enjoyment out of doing the podcast, and, like, whenever we do stuff, we always want to do it to, like, the maximum. We want to watch a bunch of movies and stuff, and I don't know, I get a level of enjoyment out of that. It's just a different level of enjoyment, and sometimes I do feel move burnout.
Yes.
But one cool thing is 22 Shots does take a break in the summer, and this year we're actually taking a break pretty early. It's like the first week of May. After the first week of May, we'll be taking a break, and we will have like, I think, most of May, June, July, and August, so like 4 straight months of really not doing much podcasting for them. I mean, I do have the summer series this year, which you do as well, and of course his and hers, and I'll probably watch some whatever year we get next too, but it'll be like a nice break where I'll be able to really dig into like more movies for fun and just not watch movies at all too, because sometimes I just feel like not watching movies.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I just, it's like a double-edged sword, because I do love doing that aspect. Like, I love prepping for podcasts and doing the podcast. And I love when it's done and you see, like, this catalog of stuff that you've done. Like, I mean, just today I was updating the 22 Shots website, and there was just a, like, vast amount of movies that we've covered over the years. And it's just very cool to see that. And it's nostalgic. Like, I think back and I'm like, man, I remember watching all those, like, 72 moves and being like, and now I look back on it like that was a fun time. Not you, I guess.
Yeah. No, buddy, that was horrible. It was fun because of the running joke that we have now, but other than that,
running joke?
No. 72 moves.
Where did that joke come from? The listeners probably have no idea.
All right, well, back in the day when we were actually prepping for the show, we were sitting in my whip at the hotel, because we both still worked at the hotel at that time, and I think we had gone somewhere, and then I was taking you back to your car, and we were sitting there, and you were like all excited. You're like, a sport was back. I think it was hockey or something.
Oh,
and you were like,
I think it was the NHL playoffs.
Okay, yes, sure. The NHL playoffs.
I want to say we won the Stanley Cup that year, so I was pretty. There was a good reason for being excited.
Right, you were very hype. You were like, yay, the NHL is back, and I'm gonna have that to look forward to, because you always say that, like, helps you when you get depressed. It's like, that's like the one thing that you like look forward to. It makes you really hype, and you were like, yay, I can't wait. But then you were like, but that means I'm gonna have less time to watch 72 moves, and you like put your hands up in agony and like gripped at the air type of thing. I don't know if people can understand what I'm trying to do here, but it's like I know how to compare it. If you've ever seen the movie The Room, when he says, "You're tearing me apart, Lisa," that's what you did. It was 72.
But I hadn't seen The Room back then.
Yeah, but that's what that just hit me, like that's what it actually
You're tearing
was.
me apart, Lisa.
Yeah. But yeah, you did that, and then since then, that's what it's been. And we try to do it.
Moves.
What'd you say?
I said we always say 72 moves.
Yeah, and I was going to say we try to do it with other ones like, 5 moves. It just doesn't work.
No, it's 72 moves.
Yeah, it's funny. But yeah, that's the joke.
But yeah, so I also recorded a podcast with Dan and Lacey that was sort of a year in the making. Last year they did the Leprechaun franchise. I was supposed to come on for the last film, Leprechaun Returns. It couldn't really work out a date. But they asked me earlier this year if I would come back, and I was like, no, I demand to come on and do that because it was unfinished. And I actually made sure to have a day off before the 17th so that I could do that show with them. And we watched Leprechaun Returns. And it's funny because I've watched that movie, like, I want to say, like, 5 times since it came out. And it just came out in, like, 2018, I think. So, like, it's been like I've watched that like a lot.
Yeah.
But anyway, anything going on this week?
Anything going on this week? Not really. Like I said, it was my birth. I went out to eat a little bit. That was nice. Other than that, I mean, I really haven't been watching a whole ton of moves. I mean, one thing, sometimes I've been working late at my job. There's at least 2 days where I work pretty late, so that those 2 days kind of wipe out my move watching. And then, like I said, I'm experiencing that move burnout right now. But yeah, so I don't think I have a ton this week to really discuss. But whatever it is, what it is. And yeah, that's about it for me. I don't think anything else super exciting has happened.
I'm on a like freaking 8-day work stretch right now where I'm working every day. I think I got I think I got about 14 hours of overtime this past week, so I'm feeling a little work burnout. Which is pretty much always, but like extra work burnout, super work burnout. And so I'm like dead feeling like right now even, and I still got 3 more days to go. Or wait, 4 more days to go. Damn it, this is only a halfway point.
Oh, no.
Yeah, so yeah, I came in, I had to go to court for that. Did I talk about that on the show where that guy like destroyed the room and stuff?
Yeah, we talked about it briefly last time.
Yeah, well, I had to go to court for that, and then I went straight to work after, so that was like a 13-hour day or something like that. And then I came in for another employee who called off on Friday. I was supposed to be off and record 22 shots, so I had to cancel that, but canceled it for good reason anyway. Jeremy canceled because of work, and then Watson, our guest, also canceled because of work, so it would have been just Moods and Dave. Unfortunately, Dave is not going to be able to do the Evil Dead show with us now, so it'll be me, Moods, Jeremy, and Watson. It's unfortunate, but you know, I guess it's better to lose Dave than to just have Dave and Moods on a franchise show. That doesn't really make sense. So, yeah, I mean, it is what it is, but that stuff happens. I mean, we have a really tight schedule for 22 shots right now. We actually couldn't even afford to miss a week because we were actually fully packed for the rest of our shows, because the first week of April we actually are not doing a show. And then the I think 3rd and 4th week of April we're not doing a show either, so we only have like 4 or 5 more spots left, and they're all full. We actually have too many shows, so we're gonna have to do something in the summer too. But anyway, that's about it for me. Do you want to get into some like what we watched things?
Sure. Yes.
Okay. What do you whose turn?
I think it's your turn to go first.
And what was the last thing that I reviewed?
Leprechaun Returns.
Oh, okay, so I talked about that then.
Yeah.
Alright, pretty smaller week for me, nothing major, as they've been lately. I haven't been watching a lot of movies, honestly. I'm averaging about 1 a day, and last year I was averaging about 10 and a half a day, almost. Jeez. So, quite the significant drop-off. Not 10 and a half a day, 10 and a half a week.
Okay. Yeah, that didn't make any sense.
Yeah. But there was that one week I watched 22 movies in a week. That was insane. I thought about that the other day, and I was like, man, if I just did that with all 05 movies, just took a week and watched 22 of them, I would be like done in like, you know, way faster.
Yeah.
But yeah. Anyway, as per me returning to my Survive 05, thankfully, because I was really falling behind there. And we're doing that show in May, so I don't have that much time left. Like the first week of May. So we really only have about a month, maybe a month and a half of prep left, which is scary. So I watched The Exorcism of Emily Rose. Now this move, I first seen this movie back in like 2005 or 6. I mean, this entire year is like kind of nostalgic for me because I was like, what, like 16 or something back then?
Like 14.
14, 15? Yeah, somewhere around.
Yeah.
I always think I'm 16. Like, it'll be anything. I think I was 16 back then. Everything just seems 16 to me. I guess that's because it was like a lot of stuff happened in my life when I was 16, you know. Like, that's where I got my underage drinking and like all this crazy stuff was going on. But, okay, so I was like 14 or something, which was, you know, prime where this is when I found these friends that I became really close with when I was probably about 13 or 14, and we just like hung out every single weekend, and that's when I started like partying and stuff like that, and it was just like a grand old fun time. And we would it was like we were adult enough to be like, you know, getting cases of beer and like chilling and like playing card drinking games and like having girls over and stuff like that, and then we were like still kids enough to like build forts and like rent movies.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was like a weird transition period, but I remember we had a like a blanket for it. Like we built a damn blanket for it and put the TV inside the blanket for it, and we would rent movies, and we rented this movie, and I remember just being like not able to pay attention to it. It was like so boring. It was so uninteresting to me. I just was like, that movie sucked, and I just never watched it since then. I tried to watch it like a couple of years ago for a review when we were doing like Exorcism movies or something, and I was like, F this, and I just watched a different one. But The Exorcism of Emily Rose is really cool. It's like basically a court drama where this priest is going on trial for the death of Emily Rose, who he is saying is possessed, and it's basically the recount of those events. I actually really loved it this time. Just being an adult and like it's not like as horror as like a lot of horror movies are. Like a lot of the film takes place in the courtroom, like talking about it, and there's not a lot of like the actual exorcism and possession and stuff like that. It's actually a little tame when you think of like even The Exorcist. But yeah, it was really solid. I think that there's a lot of faith in this movie, and you know, I know that like Dave, I was talking to him, and one of the issues that he has with it is like the amount of like religious, you know, blowing yourself type of like faith type thing that's in it, you know, like almost like a you know, like a preachy type thing, which I understand. That's some people religion really gets on their nerves and stuff, but I like that stuff too, you know. I think that religion and horror kind of gets a bad rap sometimes, where it's like, you know, like the Conjuring films and stuff, but I think it has its place, and I think that it definitely belongs in horror. And I think this movie's great. I gave it an 8.5 out of 10. I know you rewatched it recently. Did you like it?
Yes, I liked it.
There's a thing. That's why you were ignoring me. I see.
I wasn't even ignoring you, buddy. Come on. But yeah, it's a good move. I think I said this in the last ep, but I had the same opinion where I was like really bored by this because I was like 8 years old when this came out, so I thought it was super boring. And then watching it later as an adult, I'm like, oh, it's actually a really good move.
Yeah. And then I watched Dominion, prequel to The Exorcist, from 2005. This is the second Exorcist prequel that came out. The first one, I believe, came out in 2004, which I had seen before, but I don't really remember. I saw that one in the drive-in, I think. I really don't remember it at all. But yeah, this one follows Father Merrin. But I assume it's an ancestor of Father Merrin from the first film?
I thought it was actually supposed to be him.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, I think that's why it's a prequel, because it's like, yeah.
Yeah, I guess it. The 70s versus.
You know? Yeah. I don't know what year that took place. But
Well,
like,
it'd be
yeah,
in the 40s because, well, it would have been maybe the beginning scenes in the 40s, like mid 40s with the Nazis and stuff, and then I think it flashes forward a couple of years. So yeah, I guess it would be the same. I guess it just threw me off.
Yeah, I thought that too at first, but like, yeah, because.
Yeah. So yeah, he basically is in like he had to participate in these horrible Nazi things that happen, and he goes to Kenya as a part of these Christian missions, and basically there's, you know, a boy who's possessed by a demon and stuff. This movie's boring as hell, man. I don't know. I couldn't get into it. It did remind me a lot of the beginning. I would think that one was in like Africa too.
It's like the same set with the same actor, so it's the same movie pretty much.
Oh damn, that's so weird that happened.
Yeah, the same guy played Father like that. Yeah. He
just shot the movie twice. That's so weird.
Yeah.
Cool story, but yeah, I just didn't. I don't know. It was like after watching Exorcism of Emily Rose, this one just came off super boring. It's 2 hours too, and not much happens. There's bad CGI in it too. It just was like a big letdown. So yeah, I gave it a 5 out of 10. And then we have The Evil Dead 1981. I'll be brief because we are covering these on the next podcast. I mean, it's a fantastic horror film. It's good, it's great, it's awesome. You know, it's good horror. It's no comedy in this one. It's just straight up horror. Cabin in the Woods, classic horror stuff. And then I watched Evil Dead 2 1987. Now this one is different because it is more comedic, but honestly, watching it, I've always preferred Evil Dead 1 to Evil Dead 2. But watching it this time, man, I'm just going to say Evil Dead 2 definitely goes higher up on my list now.
Ooh.
Yeah. Not higher than I'm not saying it's not higher, but I'm not saying it's higher is what I'm saying. I'm just saying it climbed on my list of, like, favorite films.
Right.
Man, that movie is just very fast-paced and just always something happening. It's a lot of fun. And then we did 2 films at your house, which we'll get to. Then I watched Leprechaun 3 when I got home from your house because I believe last year I watched 1 and 2, so it was time to watch 3. Next year I'll go on 4. But yeah, Leprechaun 3, it's the best one. I love it. I mean, it literally cracks me up, dude. It makes me laugh. Carolyn Williams is like unrecognizable in it. She just is playing like such a good character and really, I mean, I think it's some of her best acting, which is pretty crazy, but to say in a Leprechaun movie, but she really kills that performance. It's perfect, like bitchy quality. And then Fazio's hilarious. I just like the story. It's really fun. Very fast paced. Something's always happening. Very good movie. 7.5 out of 10. And then I watched Constantine, which is a Survive 05 film. And this one is starring Keanu Reeves, and he's basically this dude named John Constantine who tried to kill himself when he was a kid. And he goes to hell for a while, and he was only dead for like 2 minutes, but you know, before they resuscitate him. But to him, he spent a lot of time in hell, and he comes back, and obviously doesn't want to go back to hell. But it's the ultimate sin, so you can't. You basically are forced to go to hell, despite what happens next. And he essentially is trying to exorcise demons and send them to hell to basically sort of buy his way into heaven. He's trying to do that at least. And he meets this girl whose sister committed suicide, and there's these rules and stuff, but it seems like the demons are sort of breaking the rules, and he's, you know, helping her figure out what happened to her sister and battle demons and stuff. I actually really like the first maybe hour of this movie. I think it's 2 hours long, and then it kind of like loses me a little bit. I mean, I was on pace to be at like an 8.5, and I dropped all the way down to like a 6.5. So I think I was just really into the mythology, and this film is based on a comic book series, so it would make sense that the mythology and story is very strong because of usually those source materials. If it was popular enough to get a movie, it was probably pretty well done. So I think the mythology and the story was super interesting, and that's what kind of grabbed me, because I thought it was a really neat idea. Like, okay, this guy went to hell and he doesn't want to go back. Like, that's scary and cool, and like a cool little idea. So I was really sort of liking that concept, and then it kind of fell flat a little bit. I gave it a 6.5 out of 10 altogether. I feel like I watched something else, but I can't think of it. Do you remember me telling you anything else I watched?
I do not recall. Wait, you didn't watch the other Evil Dead movies?
No, because we ended up canceling I was gonna watch them Thursday night, but we ended up canceling the show, so I figured I would wait. I started Army of Darkness.
I see. I don't recall.
I swear I watched another 05 movie, but oh yeah.
Oh,
I did.
Isolation.
Yeah, Isolation. I watched that one last night, and it is about what the hell's it about? Oh, it's about a farmer in Ireland. I've reviewed this before on 22 Shots. and it came out in 2005. It's about a farmer who basically gets this government or like some sort of lab biogenetics type thing to test this new stuff on his cattle that's supposed to make them grow faster and, you know, basically help the beef industry or the cow industry. And there's a veterinarian there checking the cows out and stuff, and she's like checking its, I guess, vagina. She got her hand in there and something bites her, and she's like, that's not right, you know, the unborn calf bit me. And they're like, no, it's fine, that can't happen, blah blah blah. Anyway, the cow gets really sick, and the farmer basically has to like pull the cow out of the womb, and the cow is like pretty aggressive, and then they kill the calf, and essentially inside it they find that it was pregnant as well, which is like super not right. And yeah, it kind of has shadows of The Thing, and it's kind of it's a little gross, but it's like not ever like too explicit where you're like, it's gross enough to where you're like, ew, this is nasty, but it never like stays on it long or like really lingers on. It's like all kind of like in the like the background, and it's like shot in a way where it like tries to hide some of the grossness, to probably like budget wise, but you know what I mean. So it's not like super gross, but it's pretty gross. But it's sort of like this, like, not like sort of like half infection, half like parasite, half like creature feature type thing. But it's really unique, you know, it's dealing with the cows and stuff like that, and it's all set on this farm, and there's a group of characters like dealing with the situation and stuff. It's actually a really good movie. I really enjoyed it. I can't remember like what I gave it on 22 shots, but I remember liking it back then. When we did an Irish horror episode, and all three of the movies we covered on there were really good. But this one was probably like the one that was the least good, but I think that it's definitely a very... See, I gave it a 7 on that episode. I'm going to go ahead and give it an 8 now. I'm going to give it an 8.
Cool. I suppose I shall watch it. Yes.
Right, and I believe that's it for me.
Alright. It is my turn. So, yes. First up, for my Survive 05, we have Boo from 05.
How many do you have?
I have 1, 2, 4.
Oh.
Yes.
How many do you have?
Dude, shut up. No one thinks it's funny.
Yeah, no, somebody left a comment and said it's always going to be funny.
Nobody, no one left a comment. We don't have YouTube anymore, I swear. The channel got deleted, I swear. But no, Boo, from 05.
Boo-hoo.
Nobody's Boo. This was set on Halloween, which was cool. I guess it's pretty obvious it's called Boo, but, and it's about this group of kids who go to this, like, this abandoned, hospital, I believe, for Halloween nights, just to screw around and have a fun time, and, it turns out to be, well, you guessed it, haunted. I enjoyed the movie. I thought it was decent. I definitely... Like, at the beginning, it was cool because it felt kind of like Scream or Halloween. You got, like, it starts out with, like, this girl carving a jack-o'-lantern, and she's, like, home, and then someone calls her, and she's like, who is this? And it feels very Scream-esque, and, you know, of course, it's, like, her boyfriend and whatnot. And then they go to the place, and the atmosphere is cool and stuff. The story gets a little bit wonky, though, and kind of cheesy at times. Some of the effects are that very 05, like... just cheesy, like not scary or anything like that. That's an issue with 05. Like, I feel like none of the movies are scary because none of the effects in them hold up, and they try too hard to use them. But there's still a few moments that are rather creepy in it that I did enjoy. But overall, it wasn't. It kind of let me down by the end. I was kind of really into it, and then it kind of just like went down from there. I gave that one like about I think 6.5 out of 10, something like that. Then after that, I watched Shopping Mall from 1986 as per my just watching a movie for fun. And Chopping Mall, of course, about a bunch of people get stuck in a mall, and there's these robot bitches trying to kill them. And this one is fun. This is one that Derek sent to me, and the Vestron, I think it's the first Vestron, actually. And I watched this with you for the first time several years ago, probably when we first met. It was a move that we decided to watch together, and I remember enjoying it. So I wanted to watch it again, and yeah, it's just a fun time. You know, it's goofy, cheesy, some interesting characters in it, and I like the whole mall setting. I just think that is a cool setting for a horror movie, and you know, cheesy effects and everything. It's a pretty short film. I think it's only like 76 minutes, but it's just a fun time, and I enjoy it. You know, can't really take it too serious, but I give it a 7 out of 10 for enjoyment factor. And then after that, I watched Serpents from 2009, courtesy of my buddy. And this was one of the man-eater films from Sci-Fi, and I thought it looked ridiculous. That is why I wanted to watch it. I wasn't in the mood to watch anything serious, and I put it on, and honestly, it kind of took itself kind of serious, and I was a little disappointed in that. But the effects of the Sand Serpents was still kind of comical because it's very bad CG, and just the look of them is kind of funny, but it's just weird because it's like the story does... I mean, I guess I shouldn't be mad at that because they were trying to make a good film, but I guess I went into it looking at the cover and everything thinking this is going to be funny and played for laughs and whatnot, but it really wasn't. It did take itself a little bit serious, so I guess, you know, like I said, I feel like I can't fault it, but at the same time, I didn't feel like watching a serious move. I wanted to watch something fun, but whatever. I think I gave that like a 6 out of 10. And then lastly, I watched Spirit Trap as per my Survive 05. This is about a bunch of like British people who stay at this house together, and then all these spirits start kind of getting into their heads and manipulating them and stuff like that. Honestly, I thought this one was pretty boring. I feel like it takes way too long to get going. It focuses more on like the story of the characters, but it's just really boring, and not a lot is happening for a long time, and then you get to the end, and even when stuff starts happening, it's just kind of dull and blah and bland, and yeah, did not really enjoy this one too much at all. I gave it a 3.5 out of 10, do not recommend. And that's all I watched. Besides, we watched another Leprechaun move together, you and I. So, which was... What? Yeah, that's it. Okay. I said I have 4.
We watched Red Clover. I think we watched Leprechaun's Game first, but
yeah,
we watched Red Clover, which was a made-for Sci-Fi Channel film back in 2012. So you think back to when this came out, and I think Leprechaun. When did Leprechaun Origins come out? Like 2014, right?
Oh, I don't know. Probably. Because you said Leprechaun Origins.
So Leprechaun Origins came out in 2014, and so that hadn't been out yet. And before that, Leprechaun Back to the Hood came out in 2003.
Ooh.
So almost 10 years since we'd had a Leprechaun film. And I was sad about that, you know. I'm like, man, I like the Leprechaun movies. So when I saw this advertised, this was before I podcasted. I think I just started YouTube, but I listened to podcasts, and there was a podcast who was talking about, like, I followed one of the hosts on Twitter, and he would always be watching, like, the sci-fi original films, like, during the premieres and, like, live tweeting them. And I remember him talking about, you know, join me this Friday for Red Clover. It was called Leprechaun's Revenge back then. I was like, Leprechaun's Revenge? And I was like, I knew that the Sci-Fi Channel always aired Leprechaun movies, so I was like, is this like a new Leprechaun? So I was like all curious about it. And watching it, quickly I realized it's not part of the same franchise, but it was still cool. And I thought it was like okay. It was like, you know, basic, cool, whatever, like kind of average, but not too bad. And then like 2 years later, Leprechaun Origins came out, and I was like, that was like Red Clover, but you know, different. And then, of course, 2018, we actually got a like return to form Leprechaun, which I just thought was amazing, and would love to see again. So this Leprechaun movie, Red Clover, it follows a young woman who is basically hunting or something with her like grandfather on like this out in the woods, and it's around St. Patrick's Day, and she essentially unleashes a leprechaun onto the town, and it's up to her and her dad, played by Billy Zane, to sort of deal with this leprechaun. And there's like this, she has like a love interest, and they figure out more like mythology on leprechauns and stuff, and she has this curse of a red clover on her palm, where like she has like 4 days to live before she dies or something. And yeah, there's like this horseshoe weapon that they make and stuff with like 3 different horseshoes. It's, you know, got all this mythology and stuff. I actually thought it was pretty fun.
Yes, I thought it was a fun movie too. I like, you know, it's like Leprechaun is a scary creature leprechaun guy.
It's more of a creature feature than an actual like talking leprechaun that we know and love.
Yes, and it's kind of, there's a few moments where it's like, oh, it like spooked me a little bit. Yeah, so I thought it was cool. I thought it was fun. And yeah, some of the stuff is a little, you know, it's not like the best movie in the world. It does feel a little generic at times, but it was like better than I think I thought it was going to be. Like, I thought it was going to be a very cheesy, I always thought this was a full moon move for some reason.
There actually is another full moon Leprechaun movie. It's called like Lucky Charms or something.
That's what Unlucky Charms.
Unlucky Charms. I need to track that down, because I forgot there's another Leprechaun movie that exists. I'm
confusing that with this. That's why I was thinking that. But, yes.
This is one I wanted on DVD forever, and I finally grabbed it.
Yeah. But
the Leprechaun itself looks like a little goat type thing almost.
Yeah.
I was getting goat vibes from it. But it drives a car in one scene, and I was like, what the hell?
Yeah, it's Michael Myers.
Doesn't it drive a car? Or am I
it does.
Yeah. So I'm like, okay. And it got like clovers growing out of it and stuff like that. You don't get like great looks at it. It's like very briefly on screen. But I was like, wow, it drives a car. That feels like it would be more like the other Leprechaun movies.
Mhm. Unlucky Charms is on Tubi.
Yeah, a lot of full moon films are. Might have to look into that one. I'm sure it's awful, because you never hear anything good about modern full moon films.
Yeah, it's 2013. So, yes. But I enjoyed Red Clover. I'd probably give it like a 6.5 out of 10, something like that.
Yeah, so, I gave it I think a 6 as well. I think I gave it a 6. Yeah.
Cool, buddy.
Okay, and let's get into our featured review. It's nothing special, guys. It's going to be a quick one.
Yes, a quickie, if you will. Our feature review is The Leprechaun's Game from 2020, and, you know, obviously put out in 2021. And the reason we happened upon this move is because we were in Walmart together a few weeks ago, and we always look at the move section. Well, you're the one who you force it upon me, even though I like to get into Walmart and then out. But we went back there, and I noticed this first, and then like a second later you saw it, and I was like waiting for you to react.
No, I noticed it first.
No, I saw it out of the corner of my eye, and then you saw it, and you were like, what the hell is this? And I was like laughing, because I knew that was going to be your reaction within that like millisecond of me seeing it there. So that was funny. And you were like, I have to buy it. And then you bought it. And then we decided we shall do it for our St. Patrick's Day extravaganza. But Yeah, okay, so anyway, Leprechaun's game, it says, even this description, I think is, like, worded wrong. It says, after a bunch of After a bunch of thieves are sent out to hunt for urban legends by a wealthy man intending to open a museum full of mythical creatures, soon thieves will learn the legend of the leprechaun. That description didn't make sense. Because it said after a bunch of thieves, and then it doesn't give like a follow-up to that. It just says, goes to a new sentence. But yeah, these people all like set out to basically find the gold of this supposed leprechaun to, I think, earn this money that's like not even that much money. And they end up getting what they have desired, and then the leprechaun turns out to be real, and he exacts his revenge on them one by one, kind of almost like slasher-esque. So, yeah, what did you think of the Leprechauns, John?
Well, I thought that it was, like, better than I expected it to be, if you know what I mean. Like, when I was when I saw the cover, I was like, this is going to be complete ass. And when I was watching it, I was like, okay. I was like, it's not great, but it's not completely unentertaining either. So I was kind of like, okay, not too bad. I think the biggest problem with it is, like, the leprechaun itself sucks.
Yeah. That's kind of funny to me. But, yeah, no, I agree, it's like, it's not the worst bad movie I've ever seen. Like, it feels like a cohesive film, and it feels like they did put effort into it. You were pretty angry at the start of it whenever they did, like, an opening sort of word thing where you're supposed to read the scroll as it goes by, but it goes by super fast.
Oh my god, I completely forgot about that.
Yeah, you're
Dude, so, like, at the beginning of this movie, it does this, like, you know, it, like, Star Wars, where it's like a title scroll, and it's like, da-da-da, and it's like, you know, the Jedi Council has been struggling with the Darth Lord Sith or something, you know? Yeah. And it was so fast, and it wasn't like just like one big text. It was like, okay, here's a paragraph, we'll put it on screen, it goes away. Here's another one, it goes away. Here's another. It was like 4 or 5 paragraphs, and I tried to read it, and it was going so fast. I was like, you read it, and I rewound it, and I was like, read it out loud. And you was reading as fast as you could and couldn't even keep up.
Yeah. Yes, it was pretty bad. And it was kind of cool, though. They were, like, trying to do, like, a very Irish-themed sort of intro thing.
Which
and
was
some of the
cool.
settings,
it looked good.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it sound like there was cool sounds and stuff like that. I was like, okay, this is kind of cool.
Mm. And then some of the, like, woods and stuff in the film I thought were cool for, like, sets and whatnot.
Yeah, I think that it was, like, in the UK or like, might have been even in Ireland. I don't know. I think there's a UK-based film company that made this movie, so, you know, that's pretty cool. But yeah, so what else?
I mean, the acting in it's like not great, but like that's to be expected. I do think, and then there were like they try to do cool stuff, I guess, with the kills and stuff that the leprechaun does. There's one where he like tries to contort someone's body, and it feels like something out of the Suspiria remake type of thing they're trying to do. And I mean, they do okay with that part, but then there's also parts where he like kind of burns this girl's face, and it just looks really bad, and just like they put red all over her face, and that's kind of that, and it's obviously fake. Like the special effects makeup wasn't the greatest. The leprechaun himself was pretty much just a full-grown man with a mask on, and a bad, like, doing this, like, bad, like, deep fake voice type of thing. So, yeah, like you said, I think the leprechaun being pretty sucky kind of is distracting in the film for sure, but I mean, overall, it's okay. It does definitely linger on some scenes a little bit too long. There's that scene where that dude's, like, out in his yard trying to... He thinks he hears the leprechaun, I guess, and he's like, holding a weapon, and then it's just, like, suspenseful music for, like, 20 minutes, and then he changes weapons, and he's still trying to be like, what's that noise? And then finally the leprechaun attacks, and there's a few scenes in the movie like that are just linger on for way too long, and it's not really building suspense, it's just kind of annoying. So, but overall, like I said, it's not the worst thing in the entire world, but I definitely, you know, I wouldn't really recommend it unless you're like J Pig here and like to seek out every Leprechaun film ever made.
Yeah, I thought it was just, you know, it was like, I would watch it again on another St. Patrick's Day, but not like for a few years. But yeah, anyway, any Letterboxd reviews?
Yes, I'm just going to read Jeffrey Long's review. He gave it 3.5 stars, and he's someone that, I'm Facebook friends with him. I think he's in, like, the groups and stuff, so, I shall read his. He says, The Leprechaun's Game is a new movie brought to us by the UK-based company responsible for bringing us plenty of movies I've reviewed previously, such as the Bad Nun films, but most recently reviewed being a trio of scarecrow-themed movies, of which the director of those returns for this one. Now, it's pretty clear this killer leprechaun after his Stolen Gold movie is pretty heavily inspired by the official and infamous Leprechaun movies. But seeing as how the franchise has yet again stopped in its tracks, I'll gladly take rip-off ones if that's the only way I can get my killer leprechaun fix. And
like
you know
me.
what? Yes, exactly. Yeah. This actually was pretty decent. Some of the audio did sound like it was recorded in an echo chamber. The leprechaun himself is a bit taller than I think such a character should be, and a search for the gold consisted of randomly searching a forest for it with no real direction or plan in place.
That's true. We didn't mention that.
Yeah, and they kind of like found the gold, and we were like,
and
wait,
it also
did they find
seems
it?
stupid. Remember, because they're like, all these people are gonna work for this guy to get this gold, but it's like, why wouldn't he just be like, why wouldn't they just keep the gold when they found it?
Right. Yeah.
They're just gonna get a piece of the gold when they find it for this guy.
Yeah. Stupid. But let's see. And they just so happened to randomly come across it, which was a bit ridiculous. But those issues aside, I was relatively surprised with this one. Most of the acting is quite good for this type of fare, although a few side characters were not quite as good. In addition, it moved at a surprisingly quick pace, which I'm not used to with these movies, as they tend to move pretty slow with a lot of filler scenes, but I very much enjoyed the change up. The leprechaun got some pretty brutal kills in with his machete. Yes, he carries around a machete, as well as some awesome magic-based kills, and it's just an all-around pretty fun package. An easy quick watch, and easily one of my favorite Champ Dog films, productions, movies that I've seen to date. Cool. So, and I do kind of agree. I feel like it wasn't super slow. I do feel, like I said, I think it lingers on some of the suspense scenes a little long, but I've seen much slower movies, like low-budget films that are just tedious to watch, and this one wasn't that bad. Mm-hmm. Let me see, and then I'll just read Dustin Baker's. He gave it 2.5 stars. He says, more old-fashioned B-movie schlock in the style of 90s Full Moon, but even cheaper coming from the UK DTV scene. I don't know if it's just Stockholm Syndrome or what, but at this point I've seen so many of these from the same group of filmmakers, Louisa Warren, Scott Jeffrey, etc., that they've actually inspired warm feelings whenever one comes out, which is like every 3 weeks, and being raised on cheap, shit-peddled on VHS racks. It's the closest equivalent there is to those childhood days. This certainly fits right in, with a derpy monster killing people one by one for unimaginative reasons, but it's all you need from these kinds of films, really. This one seems less polished than some of the Warren's other films, which I have to imagine is caused by less funds and resources, as this had to have been made during pandemic times, knowing the typical schedule these have. It certainly feels cheaper, but it carries a lighter sense of humor than they typically have, even if it takes its premise overly seriously, though I think even that's with a tongue-in-cheek approach. But ultimately, it's people having fun making cheap and schlocky B-movies for tasteless ne'er-do-wells like me to watch incessantly. Though that's got to be the tallest fucking leprechaun in record history.
Yeah, that was not good.
Right. But like I said, buddy, they probably just didn't have a short friend.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I just don't feel like you can make it without making them a little smaller.
Right. But yes, that is Letterboxd.
Yes. Okay, so what do you rate it?
Might even be a little high, I don't know. I gave it a 4 out of 10.
I'm actually at around a 4 out of 10 as well.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. Alright, so I guess that's going to be it. I'm going to go cook dinner because I'm starving. I don't know what we're going to do next week. I was trying to figure it out while you were doing the Letterboxd reviews. There are a few other movies out there that we haven't covered yet, like Willy's Wonderland and stuff like that. So we'll look at that. Usually I try to decide what we're going to review before we end the show, but I couldn't find anything. We'll have to discuss it, especially since I think we're recording Saturday, so that'll be really close. And then the week after that, I believe we'll be doing Godzilla vs. King Kong, because that'll be out.
Yes. Cool.
So yes, I'm excited to do that. I want to go to the movie theater for that.
I want to see a move.
I miss theaters.
Me too.
I mean, they're still up. It's just because they're not open on like weekdays. It's like I don't really have a way to go. You know what I mean? Because I work the weekends usually, and I work the evening shift, so it's like I've really screwed us over on movie theaters.
You sure have, buddy. You sure have.
All right. With that said, we'll see you guys next time with another one. Peace out.
Bye.